All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. So, another legendary classic rock band says they'll never perform again. So, we're in a place now where this is going to be more frequent. It's not surprising, but it's just very sad. And this is one of those bands that is so unheralded, especially here in the United States, um, not getting radio airplay on classic rock stations, and really, for the most part, have been memory hold. I have talked about them before, but before I talk about them again, here is Grand and their album Second to None. This is an up and coming band from Sweden. They seem to want to keep this stuff going in Sweden. Um, this is pop and melodic rock. It's not too aggressive, but it is very listenable and has the makings of something that could be big here in the United States. Um, but according to some who do radio shows and, you know, they talk about kind of the same bands all the time. This is just some kind of project band, and this record label puts out too much music, and yeah, too much music. this We're not getting any music here in the States. So good for Grand, good for the Frontiers label. I don't like everything Frontiers puts out, but they do put out a lot of great music, and this is, again, one of the better offerings so far in the year 2024. Now, on to this band that is calling it quits. Rick Emmett from the band Triumph says that he doubts the band will ever perform again. He says, I think it's a non-starter. So in a recent interview, he says, I'm sorry to take out a sharp little pen and prick the balloon of hope, but honestly, I think when we played a short set at a fan event, which was filmed for the Triumph documentary, Triumph Rock and Roll Machine, and Gil Moore, who plays drums and also sings, rehearsed for a long time to sort of get himself in playing shape. We only played 3 songs, but he was going to sing and play when the lights go down. And he hadn't played ever since we did the Sweden reunion, which was a long time ago. He hadn't sat down and played any music or even touched his drums. And then when we did that, at the end of it, I think he went, okay, I'm done. A show of hands, and maybe everybody else said that he should be done. Rick continued, it's a lot to ask of him, the whole idea of singing half the show, but you're sitting there and you're trying to drum an extremely aggressive kind of music for anybody that has to play drums. And I would say in a Triumph situation, in a trio situation, but even more, Rick Emmett writes these tunes where, it's like, I want to get busy. And that's why I'm going to need a drummer to play a lot of fills. And Gil was game for a long run. And now he goes, yeah, I think I've had enough. Basically, his back doesn't like it. His shoulders don't like it. His elbows don't like it. So Rick Emmett went on to say, there was a time, I don't know if folks know this, but when we did the live album Stages, we'd play a long tour. And this was back in 1985. When we came off the road, the record company wanted a couple of tracks. And there was one where Gil, his elbow was sore. Now I think it was maybe from playing too much golf as well as playing too much drums. So he actually had to have rehab for his elbow back in the 80s. So I'm pretty sure this band is over. And it's too bad because these guys were one of the most underrated bands. I think they're worthy of the American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I call it the American Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure they've probably been inducted into the Canadian version of whatever we do here. But these albums, I had a bunch of them. I had Rock and Roll Machine. I'm looking back at the titles. I had Just a Game. Allied Forces was the big one. Progressions of Power was good too. But the day Never Surrender came out, I purchased the vinyl of that. And there was this tune called All the Way, which was on the radio like constantly, along with the title track Never Surrender. I think All the Way actually went to #1 on mainstream rock radio. Hasn't been played since. It just vanished. But the band continued. After Never Surrender, they had Thunder 7, which was amazing. And the top 40 sounding The Sport of Kings, which, would work on an 80s show, like an 80s top 40 kind of show. It just a great album, a little bit more pop oriented, but still with the great vocals and the great playing and the great songwriting. And I don't know. I just don't understand what happened with this band. They have a catalog that's very impressive. And for real rock fans, you don't get much better than the band Triumph. But according to Rick Emmett, it appears that they are all done. And that's sad. Canadian rock, for the most part here in the United States, for some reason, is not recognized. And I don't know if it's a bias against Canadian music or if it's the type of music that Canadians make, whether it's Aldo Nova, who I don't hear on the radio anymore either. Not even Fantasy, I don't hear. And Aldo had a couple of other tracks that got some airplay. But when I think of Canadian rock like Kim Mitchell and stuff similar to that, we don't really acknowledge much of it here in the States anymore. And it's a darn shame. Yeah, Loverboy. Okay. Yeah, Loverboy's out on tour with whoever right now. Is it Foreigner? They were out there with Foreigner, and I think they either hooked up with them again or they hitched a ride with someone else. And Mike Reno can kind of still sing. So you got to give them credit for not sounding like crap. But yeah, I don't understand between the Hall of Fame and the radio programmers here in the United States. Still waiting for Steppenwolf to get into the Hall of Fame. Technically kind of a Canadian-ish band. Just shake my head. I know they were nominated once. The Guess Who, still waiting for them to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You can make a case for Bachman Turner Overdrive as well. So there's a severe Canadian bias, and it's really stupid. I don't like Justin Trudeau either, okay? But Trudeau wasn't around back in the old days. His dad, though, was. So I don't know. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, but the music has always been great from Canada. So if you're watching from Canada, you guys are great up there. You've had some fantastic musicians. You don't have to apologize for Neil Young. I'm just kidding. Old Neil is okay. It's just some of his stuff and some of his viewpoints on things. Not so much. Here's Grand. They're not from Canada. They're from Sweden. Check them out. They're good. Second to none. This is their second album, so the title is appropriate. The music is great. Doesn't sound like Triumph, but the guy does have a pretty high voice, and so that's probably what they have in common with Triumph. My name is Dave. Thanks for watching the channel. Please support the channel. There are several ways to do it now. They will be listed in the description of this video. I am hitting all-time low revenue points right now, and I'm talking going back 7 years with this channel. I have more videos out there than a lot of other channels that do what I do. So I don't know. I need your help. I know I talk about things that some people find, difficult to deal with. And so I apologize for that, but I'm not going to change. For those of you who like the music content, yeah, the music content is obviously going to keep going. And the other stuff too, when I feel it's appropriate, I will bring those things here as well. But I need support. I need patrons. I need just regulars over on YouTube for membership, and watch the videos. Make sure you're getting notifications on new videos. And there's a way to hit the little drop down tab and then click the all button so you're getting all of your notifications. All right, that's it. Another classic rock band is all done. Very sad, but it's where we're at currently, and not much you can do about it.